time for business now, and Nona Peltier joins us in the studio. Nona, so hot off the press, excuse the pun that's coming up, Freightways going to buy Big Chill Distribution. So what is this, frozen foods, transport food?
Yeah, it is. It's an express distribution network with some 200 vehicles. They've got depots and cold storage all across the country. Big network. And so Freightways, which is sort of a similar type of company, they have courier services and that sort of thing, also have other businesses in Australia. They're going to buy this company for $117 million. That's for the first 80% of the company. They're going to buy the whole thing, subject to approval by the overseas.
It's staged, is it?
Yeah. Then they're going to buy another 20% depending on how the company performs. So that bit of it is performance-based. So it's subject to Overseas Investment Office approval. But overall, it's something that the company is sort of liking to put another string on its bow. And it's a big company, Freightways, not as big as some, but fairly large. And they've got, like I say, a big courier service as well. And they've got data businesses in Australia.
So they obviously see a market in, well, the food arm of distribution.
Chilled and frozen food.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so let's move on to this peer-to-peer lender, Harmoney. Raising $47 million for expansion. So what's it going to do with all of that?
They're going to spend the money in Australia. So they're going to spend it over there. But they raised, $25 million from private investors. Well, private investors. Two new big investors. One is a private equity firm and the other one is private institutional investor. No name given. But anyway, it's $25 million from those two big investors, which is what they wanted. They wanted to add to their portfolio in terms of who owns the company. It's good for liquidity and so on. They're partly owned by Heartland Bank as well as Trade Me. And so their plan now is to expand. They found some really good business here in New Zealand. They want to take that to Australia. They've also raised another $22 million of debt. So overall, it's a $47 million access. They're going to use that to build their business there.
And what else has been going on in the markets today?
Well, I have to say the markets, I don't know if I want to use the word pensive, but awaiting fresh economic news from, the United States. Yes, the central bank, the world's most powerful central bank, the U.S. Federal Reserve, is going to tell us what they're going to do with interest rates tomorrow. Could be that they raise them, they could be lowering them, but bets are definitely on a cut of a quarter basis point. So that's 0.25%.
So what's that done to your numbers, Nona?
Not very much. And that's partly because no one knows for sure what else the U.S. Federal Reserve might say about which way the economy is going in the U.S. And the on-again, off-again trade talks with China and the United States don't, right at the moment they look a little bit down. So upsy-downsy again. And so the market's sitting there going, what should we do? Apparently not very much. So we fell another handful of points, down 4. So yesterday we were up 5. Today we're down 4. 10,790. And the dollar is trading at 63.5 U.S. cents, 92.6 Australian, and 49.4 pence. So really hardly any change.
So news of an election didn't do much for the Brits then either.
No, everything's just waiting.
Thanks, Nona. Nona Peltier with our business news.